That's so funny. Oh, and back to the weather. Thanks, Bill.
I haven't seen you since we did Phoenix.
I know.
Phoenix, that was the top of the month.
That was the top of the month.
Yeah, it was like I haven't seen you since then. That was a fun weekend.
I was just gonna say Ontario. We love you.
It wasn't Ontario. That was Phoenix.
But
got it. We love Ontario.
We love Ontario. Love Ontario.
Not Canada, by the way, because everybody's always like,
yeah. Like
Ontario,
California.
IE, the IE, homie.
But
we love Phoenix.
We love Phoenix, Arizona.
And it's so funny because I
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
I used to until this recent time, but I hated performing in Phoenix. Hated.
Well, it was my first time, thanks to you, and it was just one of those weekends where
was that your first weekend?
No, but first, I did those weekends with Chris Porter.
No, on the road.
Oh.
Like a full weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh.
Cheers to that.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
It was so nice.
It was a good weekend. It was me.
Hotel was good.
You, Joel.
If you guys have watched all of my episodes, Joel was a great guest.
Joel's
you should watch it.
He's a great one. That was such a fun weekend.
The perfect crew.
Yeah, and then Zayd
great add-on.
Came through and did some guest spots. It was just fun. And like I said, I normally hate performing in Phoenix.
Well, not this time. Not anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And also, I think because it wasn't in an area that I grew up in, is why, it went good. Because if I did it in the area, near, there's another club that's close to where I grew up. That's also, the same owners of the club that we did in North Phoenix. And so, if I would have did that club closer to where I grew up.
Wouldn't have been the same?
No.
You still had your good friends come out, which is perfect.
Yeah,
just
good
enough.
friends. Yeah, good. Yeah. The ones that respect what I fucking do.
They're cool because they come in the green room and they just know how to talk just the right amount.
Oh yeah,
that sounds weird. That sounds like it comes off wrong.
Yeah, I brought some friends in the green room, and every friend that I brought in, they knew green room etiquette.
They were so polite, so nice,
so polite,
chill,
so
fun.
nice. Yep.
People you'd want to go to dinner with or hang out at a bar with.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But some people, it's interesting the way, with comedy. I think if I was I don't know. I think it's just when someone that is doing entertainment and they're doing it on a stage. If I was a theater person, if I was in theater, like doing Shakespeare or some shit.
Please, I'd love to see this.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd love if you were on the theater.
Yeah, if I was just fucking with my hand up like this or whatever they do in those damn
I'm
things.
like this. It's like this.
Just fucking we're out there or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that shit.
Yeah, if I was doing that, it'd be different because they understand there's etiquette when it comes to watching a program Hamilton. If you're sitting there, you're watching and you're respecting it. There's one act, there's act two, there's an intermission, then they finish it off or whatever.
They know when to go. Oh,
exactly.
Whoa.
But when it's stand up, it's just I hate performing for people that I know and that know me because especially sometimes when I say something, they're like, no, that's not how it was. It's bitch.
That is the worst.
The fucking joke.
What he's saying is if you didn't get it, clearly, is if we have to fabricate something a tad.
Yes.
Then the people who know the true story like to call out that's not true. Like, for example, I used to do this. This was so messed up when I was a young girl, and my mom and I would be out, and she would be telling me, say me, my mom and her friends, she'd be telling a story, and I'd go, that's not the true story, even though she probably was. And I was just like, and it just...
But you were just like shouting it out. And it's meanwhile, it's like, it has nothing to do with like, meanwhile, anything else is like, it doesn't even have anything to do with those people. And also, the other thing that I hate is that they want me to acknowledge that they're in the fucking crowd. And I go, no one else in this fucking audience knows who the fuck you are.
It would just throw everything off.
It just throws everything off. And like, you want to shout at me, the guy that's just trying to, just like, I wrote all this shit. I wrote 50 minutes of material, and you want to go, hey, man, what are you doing?
I would get so red. I would turn red.
Oh, there was one year. Yeah, it was one year. My first time headlining a full weekend.
No big deal. No big deal.
I was super excited, and I remember there was one night. When I walked off stage, and there's this little door, this little area, like it was at the Tempe Improv, and there's this little area from the audience to this fucking room. You know what I'm trying to say?
A space?
A space that, you know, that you have to walk through the audience to get to this little space, and then it's a little mini backstage area.
Got
a little mini backstage. I remember I walked off stage that night, and I stayed in that little area. I didn't even fucking go out.
Just hiding?
Just hiding. Because I was so heated and people just yelling at me.
That sucks.
And it was people I knew.
Which is like being heckled by the ones that love you the most.
Yeah, and I go, that's not funny. That's not fair. You know, like it's like it's worse than someone, like if I didn't know the person, then it's different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like when it's someone I know, like I'm like, bitch, I want to slit your throat, you know? But I'm not going to, because you can't do that. But it was something that drove me crazy. So I had this thing about not going back to Arizona. And that was 2019 or 2020? 2019 or 2020.
So a couple years. So
I was just like, fuck.
And then it went smooth.
And then, yeah, this one went smooth. So I had a little bit of people like kind of shouting.
Oh, yeah, the last show.
Yeah.
We had to.
Was it the last show? No, the Sunday show was great. It was the last show. It was a late show Saturday. That was a weird show.
The Sunday show for Zayd. I guess they were talkers.
Really?
He said the guy in the front, so that's why when I went up.
Oh, damn, I didn't even hear anybody. No, we're thinking of the show where the dude flinched at that girl.
Shows get crazy.
There was one night. Remember that?
No.
Oh, wait, yeah, because it happened when I was on stage.
Okay. That was not, because that was the last 10 minutes of it. That
was like the last 10 minutes of
Because when I got off, when I was in the back and I came in to do all the camera shit, and I missed that. It
was the last few minutes of my set where this dude, like I hear these people kind of arguing in the back, and I guess one person just kept talking during the set, but like they weren't talking loud enough to where I could hear them, but they were obviously like if you're sitting there and you're paying attention and someone's just like having a conversation constantly, your fucking focus goes to them, and then because now like they can't even really pay attention to me, and I think the dude like got mad about it, and then he fucking flinched at somebody, but I was like kind of upset with him. I was like, did you just fucking flinch at somebody? Why are you doing that? You're an adult.
Who does that?
Yeah, what the fuck are you in elementary school at recess?
So weird.
Yeah, like why are you flinching at another fucking what? I was like, and I even said, don't get that upset. It's a fucking comedy show.
You're at a comedy show for
Don't get that upset. Then no one needs to get that upset to where you gotta flinch at somebody. What? And then I found out when I got off stage that it was a girl that he flinched at.
Jeez, even better.
It's like you flinched at you fucking so dumb.
Weird.
And then some lady got a little crazy. But other than that, like that's what I'm saying. That was just a small portion. Mm-hmm. That happened. That was like literally 4 minutes of something like that. Like a 4 minute, not even 4 minutes. That was less than 4 minutes. It was like 2 minutes of all that going down. But meanwhile, that show was still a really good show.
Take the win.
You know what I mean?
It can't be perfect.
Yeah, it can be perfect.
Yeah.
But it was. I do appreciate what was going down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there was one lady I had to come at. But I'm not here to brag about that.
I
hate bragging about that.
one.
Yeah, I hate it. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't even.
Have you told that story?
No.
Should we not?
Well, I always think it's weird when people like to, like, it's to me, it's not a thing of like, I don't know. I don't feel like a fucking hero because I, basically to give you an idea so I can stop, so I guess people listening could get an understanding. It was just someone was heckling, but they were heckling in a way where they were just trying to really disrespect me, But yes, I don't like to like brag that I like comedian destroys heckler. Like I don't like that shit because I'm like
you
that's
handled
not
it well.
Yeah, and that's not why I want people to see me. It's because I fucking what? Okay, someone fucking.
He destroyed the heckler, but so many people these days are bragging about being able to hand hecklers well, which is the job of a comedian.
I mean, honestly, it's not that impressive. I mean, listen, I guess it's impressive because like the way we handle it, because we handle it in funny ways. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's just our fucking nature. That's what we do. But at the same time, it's not like that's not the goal of a show. That's not like no one's. I hope not. Like I don't walk on stage like, man, I hope someone just fucking says one crazy thing to me so I can go fucking blah, 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 blah. Like I don't think
no.
and I don't think that should be the goal. I'd rather people just fucking love the material and what I do. Just come,
a good time
just come.
Laugh.
I want people to just fucking enjoy the moment right there with me, like because I'm enjoying the moment right then and there with those people as well. So like that's all I want. Like I want nothing more than just people to fucking come to the show, sit down, let's have fun, let me fucking talk some shit out for 50 minutes or whatever, and just fucking, and then after that, boom,
everyone leaves happy.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we should do this could be a combined weekly wiener.
Okay.
And it can be a PSA.
Okay. What's a PSA? Wait, what do you mean?
I don't know what it's.
Wait, no, I didn't mean to ask. I know what a PSA is. I didn't mean to ask. When that released out of my mouth, I was like, damn, can I get that back?
What did we do last episode? Did we?
No. So I know what a PSA is. I know what a PSA is. That sounded really dumb of me.
No.
I don't want to say dumb. I just like it sounded like I lacked education. I was trying to figure out. I was like, wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, I get what kind of PSA.
You know what I was trying to say, right?
What kind of PSA? Well, no, at first I thought you meant what is it? I interpreted it as what does PSA stand for?
Public service announcement. See, I know what motherfucker.
That's it.
Yeah.
It blanked for a second.
Yeah. Oh, it blanked on you?
Yeah.
I know what
I know what a PSA is, but I forgot what
Yeah, I just when I spoke, I didn't mean to like, what's a PSA? You know when you ask something and that's not what you meant to ask?
All the time.
That's what I did.
All the time.
Yeah. I'm slipping it. I did a sauna. I was all zenned out, so forgive
lost
me.
800 calories in like 5 minutes, so he feels weak. We need to go eat.
Actually, I don't know what the sauna those calories are. Probably a lot more, though.
I think it's less.
Depends on the temperature.
Yeah, it's true.
We have it at 250.
I don't know.
250 degrees.
I'll have to Google
we'll be in there like 15 minutes.
That's a while. 15 minutes is a perfect amount of long time.
Well, we go back in. We go back and forth.
All right. We have a PSA to do.
Okay.
All right. I'll start it off, and that's how you'll find out what it is.
I know, right? Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. I'll follow your lead.
All right. We have a PSA. This is a PSA, a public service announcement to anyone that enjoys stand-up comedy and comes to stand-up shows. We know you love crowd work clips on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Reels and Facebook Reels, and there's too many platforms, and we're all going to go crazy. But that doesn't mean...
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about when I told you the story? I was in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these girls just they eventually got kicked out, but they thought they were helping me the whole time. But it was like I wasn't even acknowledging them, and they were just like I'd say something like I'd be like, it's like the dumbest shit too. like
it doesn't mean you're part of the show.
Oh, like if I'm like, oh yeah, I went to Vermont. Oh damn, what was that like?
I know, big show.
And I was like, what? Let me get there. You know? But yes, I don't know. Listen, I don't know if that's I don't want to try to define it. I don't know if people just think, but yeah, because yes, like I've had it a few times where people just literally think they're like helping, and I'm like,
that's why we have to let them know.
But the thing is, like, I don't know who you are. What do you mean you're helping? I don't know who you are. Like, it's not like it's not like I talked to you before I went on stage. Like, yo, hey, when I say this, imagine that. When I say this, just interrupt it, and then fucking, I'm gonna go. Oh,
it's like a magic show.
Yeah,
like a planted audience member.
Exactly.
But I
actually haven't posted any fucking crowd work clips, and I haven't posted a stand up clip in a minute.
Because the problem is there's so many crowd work clips, people see them and they want to be a part of one or part of such experience that they think when they go to a stand-up show, it means.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like it's done a lot for people, like it's gotten people, to become ticket sellers. It's done things for a lot of comics, but I guess mine's just more of a personal thing. Is I just would prefer to just do a whole set where I didn't have to talk to anybody.
Well, no one should call out. That's
and don't get me wrong, like I have done crowd work, and it's because it's like, oh, I got to do the crowd work because the clip, because you get a clip and the crowd, it's like, like all about it or whatever, and like to me. And this is not a disrespect to anybody, but like to me, the hardest part of comedy is writing a structured joke. I think when it comes to crowd work, I'm not saying it's like I don't think anybody could just do it, but I think the hardest part of comedy is like writing a structured joke from start to finish to where it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Oh, I love that boom.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, because that's the punchline.
Yeah.
yeah. That was the punchline boom. But yeah, I don't want to make it seem like it's a diss because that's not what it is. Because it has done a lot for people.
I'm not even talking about the comedians.
I thought you were talking about comedians.
I'm talking about the audience members.
Oh, audience. Man, fuck you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. Yes, I think, some people, well, skip all that. Let me try something new. So, yes, I think audience, sometimes they see a clip and they see that, and it's like, to me, I'm like, I'm not, bitch, I don't want to clip you. I don't want to put you on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
Hey, if people want to do that, you should go to Mike Falzone's Surrounded show.
That's a traditional, and I've done that show, and I love that fucking show. I love that show.
That's the perfect show. That's one of
my favorite. I guess non-traditional stand-up shows. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's one of my favorite non-traditional stand-up shows. Is that show? That's such a fucking fun show.
He puts the comics in the middle, and all the chairs are around. You have no material, nothing, and you just have to improvise.
Yeah, go to that show. Anybody that's listening, I fucking highly recommend. He does it at the Hollywood Improv, right? Yes, and you just go follow Mike Falzone on Instagram, Surrounded, and like he posts when he does those shows, and I've done that show like 3 or 4 times. And watch it be only one time that I've done it. But I know I've done it more than once.
That's so funny.
I know I've done it more than once. But yeah, I've done it like 18 times. But no.
Yeah, I'm like a regular on it.
Yeah, I'm like a regular on it. Yeah, every week, every time he does it, I'm there. No, but that show is a really great fucking show, fun show, and I think everybody should go see it. because comics like unleash in a dope way. It's fun.
It is fun to see how different comics handle it differently too. It's a roller coaster ride.
It is. It's a roller coaster. But but yeah, I've gone up on stage and like done crowd work and but after a while, like I kind of just like I just go crazy because I'm like, man, I don't want to talk to nobody anymore.
It's weird how sometimes I'm such like, so my dad does this giant Christmas display.
I saw.
You saw. If you live in South Florida, you got to check it out. And he loves for my brother to pass candy canes.
Oh, that's sweet.
And like, so all the cars, there's like lines of cars to see it. And he's like, you guys got to come over and pass out candy canes. And I'm like, I don't do the candy canes. That's Ryan. I'm the introvert.
Yeah.
Which is like, the people always think like stand-ups are like, I was like, I'm not talking to these strangers and standing outside and passing out candy canes. Yeah. That's the nightmare.
Yeah. I'm that way off stage too. Like I don't really like talking that much to like people. Not that it's just like, I don't think it's like a disrespectful thing.
No.
At all. It's just a lot of times, like, I feel like I'm a mixture, like I'm a balance of both. Like when I'm with my friends, fucking all day. Like, but as soon as someone comes in that I don't know, I'm like,
I know. Is it introverted extrovert?
Yeah. There's some fucking test I took that fucking told me that. I guess
I feel the exact same way though.
But the test I took, it leaned more towards introvert.
Okay.
Which catches a lot of people off guard.
I see it.
Yeah, I think only people that would really know me would know that. Like my mom knows I'm shy as fuck. That's how she knows me. She like to this day, she brings it up all the fucking time.
What did she say?
Well, she's just like she goes, "You're so funny." She thinks it's crazy that I get on stage and do stand-up comedy.
Like she never saw it coming.
I never saw it coming. Never. Anytime family would come around, anytime we went to like a family like reunion or like some type of event, anything like that, I'd be like glued to her. Like, and I just fucking wouldn't say shit.
And
I mean, one time this bitch called me ugly when I was a kid, bro. I don't know which relative it was. I can't remember.
A family member?
Yeah, it was a fucking family member. Yeah, I don't remember which. I remember it was at the park in Tempe, Arizona. I think it was called Kiwanis Park is where it was at. I'll never forget that. I had to be probably like 3 or 4.
Did you say anything?
She was like, "You ugly." I was like, "Bitch."
Oh.
I didn't say bitch. I think I more like was like, I don't think I understood what the fuck she was saying. But after I thought about it, I said, that bitch called me ugly.
Oh my God.
And it took me till I was like 15 till I realized like that bitch called me ugly.
Isn't it weird how you only remember the negative things when you were a kid?
I see her face and I see her saying it to me. Because I remember we were sitting down at the kids area eating our food, like eating our food at this barbecue or whatever. And and I just remember just eating my food politely, by my fucking, quietly.
Yeah.
As the introvert that I am. Looking at, like, occasionally I'll look up, look around, but then I'll check back in with my food and I'm like, where the fuck's my mom at? You know what I mean? Occasionally I was like, okay, she's over there. I'm good. Mm-hmm. And then just fucking just looking at me, just staring at me. I remember it clearly. Never forget this. And she goes, "You ugly."
Oh my God. That's so messed up.
Yeah.
Did you do a kid?
And I don't know which relative it was.
We're going to find you.
Because I don't talk to any of them motherfuckers like that.
That's insane.
Some of them I talk to, some of them I talk to, but a lot of them I don't.
I remember in high school, like clearly, like here you could say you could see the whole thing. One time I walked, I think I've said it. I don't know if I said this on this. I walked into the library. And I remember someone going, "That girl's resting bitch face," which I don't think I have.
They said that about you? How old were you?
I'm in 9th grade.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
And they couldn't, maybe I even overheard them and it wasn't to me. I don't even know, but it's one thing.
But it never left you.
Never left me. And then I remember walking through the halls and one guy going, "She has hairy arms." Not even.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Those babies were Italian as fuck. Really got the boys going.
Every time you shake someone's hand, it's just like, oh, God.
Oh,
Oh wow. All right. Well, little Missy.
Okay. But I remember those two things. I couldn't tell you clearly two memories where someone said something positive.
Really? Yeah, I'm trying to think of something, that someone said really positive about me when I was around that age.
I think it's how our brains just work.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've been shifting that.
I know. Oh, yeah. Should we say before we forget, or should we wait to the end? We have some book recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But we've been shifting that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been shifting. Well, yeah, I've been shifting that thought process because there was something I heard from Ryan Holiday, who's an author and a Stoic, and I love reading his books. And he says whenever someone criticizes, he said he does this practice that he got from Marcus Aurelius. And he said whenever someone criticizes him, basically he looks at, he goes and he looks at, he goes, look at that person. He goes, look what they, decided to do. Look at their life. And you go, oh, like not he had a little bit more intelligent way to say it than I did. Like, oh, he had a lot more words. I just gave sounds. He's like, oh, ooh,
felt what he meant.
Yeah, yep. And that's how you deal with it.
No, everyone go home and practice in the mirror.
No, it's like basically when you look at a person, and it's almost like you have, somewhat of this empathy for them because, they're. Because that's not who you are, and like who you are. At the end of the day, there's one thing. If there's one thing I learned from this message, and next time I do the podcast, I'll come with the full quote. But it was like a fucking minute video. Okay. So, anyways,
if you send it, I could add it. I'll put it in the bio.
Oh, okay. There we go. So basically, what I've learned is that at the end of the day, no one could ever really fucking know who you are besides the people that you're close with and you're with all the time. And they may know things about you, and they may know a lot of things about you. But at the end of the day, we know who the fuck we are. You know what I mean? We have to live with who the fuck we are. Mm-hmm. So it's like you can either live in this way where you have this guilt or whatever, or you can live in this way where you're trying to be a better version of yourself, for yourself, not for anyone else, just for you. To feel good about you. And it's like when people do stuff like that, like this, like the criticism of someone, especially someone that's way out of their reach, they don't necessarily know that person. You know what I mean? Because they look at that person in a way that, like, they're thinking they're just like a stupid or dumb, whatever they decided to say about this person. Meanwhile, when that person walks outside, there's probably a neighbor that's just like, hey, good to see you, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's always lovely seeing you. You have such a great smile, blah, blah, blah. Like, but meanwhile, this other person has this weird perception based off of their own things. Like, I know it's all cliche to, like, constantly say this, but it really does come, like, it has nothing to do, when someone criticizes you, basically has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, it's all stemming from their insecurities.
Yes, and I know it's like an easy cliche thing to say, but when you narrow it down and break it down at the end of the day, and that's why I don't get too upset about a lot of things, because I'm like, oh, the fucking, you motherfucker, you don't know who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what do you know about me? The fuck do you know about me? I go, what's my middle name? Most people don't even know my fucking middle name.
I say, what's my last name?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yes. When people think they know who the fuck you are, they actually, at the end of the day, and we, as a people, when someone says something, we're like, oh, like it hurt us. You know what I mean? It hurt us because we know we're not that. But if we know we're not that, then why would it hurt us? Think about it.
Wow, that's heady.
See, I knew I'd figure out what the fuck he said.
Yeah.
I knew I'd figure out the rest of that.
That's deep.
It is. You know what I mean? Like, why would you get upset if you know exactly who you are? Then what another person says
doesn't matter.
It does not matter. It does not matter at the end of the day. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I think that's one of the coolest things about our generation, which hopefully it will just get better and better, is I feel like me personally took till 30. Mm-hmm. And to go to therapy. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to have crazy issues. You just to find yourself.
Yeah.
And the tools for your own self. And you're just fixing one little thing at a time. It's so fun.
Yeah. And actually, like, applying it. I know for me, the foundation, like I've set this foundation. Oh, it's so funny. Oh my God.
What?
So I never, it's not funny, I guess. It's not sad either. It's not sad. It's not sad.
Okay.
It's not sad.
But it's not so funny.
But it's not so funny. But it is wild.
What?
So, because I just had finished a journal that I started this journal in April and I just finished it yesterday or 2 days ago. And so I put all my journals in this like box that I have, like all the ones that I've like filled out. And I saw some ones, and I was looking at some ones that I was like, oh man, I remember when I got this journal. I got this one in like fucking 2010 or something like that, or whatever. I got it. There was a journal that I bought in like 2010, but I didn't like start using it until like 2018 or whatever. And I was reading what I had written when I like really started writing in that son of a bitch. And it was when I moved out here to LA, and I can't believe I fucking wrote this. And just to see where the fuck I was at, mm-hmm. I said, get your mental stability in order. You're moving into a big city, bigger than where you grew up. You've never been around this kind of environment, so make sure your mental stability is strong.
Wow.
I wrote that in 2018.
And that's exactly what you did.
I know. And it was fucking, I was looking back at it and I was like, damn.
Good job.
Yeah, I was like, it was like a fucking ground rule that I had set for myself was to make sure mm-hmm. that my mental stability over anything else, over getting a gig or signing some deal or whatever, blah, 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 that my mental stability was the first thing that I always fucking pay attention to.
That's huge that you wrote that and then you really went for it.
I know.
And it's so funny.
And I never read back on journals ever.
Yeah, I don't think no.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. That's like reading an old so Facebook
cringy. Status. Yeah.
Like think about Facebook status from when you first had Facebook.
I went through it during the quarantine. I was like, all these people are getting canceled. Have I ever said anything stupid? Mm-hmm. All I write, all of them were, I'm a huge Miami Dolphins fan. So all of them are just, fuck the Jets. JTS, suck. Go Dolphins, fuck the Jets.
That is fucking hilarious.
What? They're like
Why is that so fucking funny?
It's so weird.
Like most people's are like some dumb shit.
I know.
But yours is like, fuck the Jets, fuck the Patriots, whoever's destroying my team, fuck them. That's actually really funny.
Yeah, it was a fun find.
I've looked back at mine. I've had some like real fucking emo ones. Mine were just more sad than anything. I was like, ooh, delete. I was deleting shit.
Speaking of emo, I have never met someone who knows the same music more than you. Like growing up, the same music. You'll put on any song on the radio from like our adolescence.
Yeah. They put on any song. But you know what? Like, here's the thing. Like, I remember when I was younger and I was like, you know, like it was all punk rock and hardcore and shit like that. And meanwhile, I was like, no, only that. But meanwhile, on the sidelines, I was like listening to like this other shit. And there's a lot of shit there's a lot of shit I fuck with. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Mm-hmm. Why not fuck with that? Why can't I fuck with this song?
Which has been kind of your whole life.
Been my whole life. There was someone that said something to me. They commented on my cheer picture. They're like, how'd you keep your punk street cred while being a cheerleader? I said, by not giving a fuck. What the fuck? What kind of question is that? What?
By not giving a fuck.
What? I don't give a fuck about no punk street cred. Mm-hmm. And I didn't give a fuck that I was a cheerleader. I liked it.
I'm hoping a bunch of kids. I just finished binging the Wednesday show.
Yeah, sorry I was aggressive.
No, that was great.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a little riled up.
I mean, I do too.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess we should take a moment of silence.
For getting riled up. As I'm reading all these damn books.
Oh, yeah, the books. Oh, what I was going to say real quick. I just finished binging the Wednesday show.
Yeah.
And I feel like I hope like young, like middle school and high school kids, I'm hoping it's like a good one because it shows like you don't have to fit in the beginning and you could be yourself to then in the end be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the through line of the whole show.
If there's anything I could probably give advice to, like as far as like youth, I would think it'd be like to just follow yourself. Like, I mean, when we grew up, it was always like, oh, you're only going to be cool if you go over here, or you're only going to, make this happen for yourself if you go over here.
You have to sit on that bench.
And that, but think about it. That's even today in like what we do, like with comedy.
Totally.
Like, oh, the booker's going to be here, so you need to go here.
Yeah.
Or you gotta go this way to make this happen.
You have to look.
The
like
only way you're
this.
going to make this happen, you have to look like this. You have to, talk like this on stage or do whatever. Like,
yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
talking the same way.
And it's like, quit, like, just follow yourself.
Go with the flow.
If there's anything I could tell kids, and like, don't get me wrong, like, there's some shit I've like followed before but then I realized I'm like, damn, what the fuck was I doing? Everybody has that. Like, we're fucking humans.
But that's also learning.
That's also learning. That's also lessons that are thrown at you. That's not like you shouldn't think of it as like, like something that like fucking destroyed you or whatever. But
your bangs will grow back.
Yeah, your bangs will grow back. You'll get your fucking bangs back. But yeah, if there's one thing, and I'm glad, like, for the most part, when I was younger growing up, like that, I just kept doing that, even with being made fun of for like listening to that music and all that shit. Like, I'm glad I just fucking was like, okay,
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Why you cheer? I like it. But no one ever really. That's the funny thing, is no one ever really fucking fucked with me with cheer. It was all the music that I listened to. Cheer, they were just like, oh my God.
It's so weird because that was like the cool music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it wasn't the cool music, but I thought it was the
Depends
cool
on where
music.
you went to school.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it depends on where you went to school.
It's the difference.
But like with cheerleading, everybody just thought it was cool because I was really good at it. Yeah.
He was very good at it. Oh, we'll get to the books. You guys hold tight.
I know everyone's like, what about the books?
What about the books?
Yeah, what about the
books? Welcome back to the book club. The 2023 book recommendations by Shapel Lacey and Mandy Martino.
Yeah.
Coming later. You know what story? It's kind of long, but we're talking about cheer. I thought it was very motivational. And I think when your cheer story, how you rode your bicycle.
When did I tell that story? I told you that story?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. I don't think I've told many people that story.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
This is
so
a great story.
Okay.
Very motivational.
So I don't know why I was telling that story. Was it tying to something?
I'm sure. I don't think you would have just started saying that. Ooh.
It was tying to something.
It was tying to something.
I think
I probably sent you a quote or something.
No, I think it maybe it just tied to like.
Oh, it was about comedy,
right?
Well, I know. I think it was probably stemming. I like how I got it with how sports. I like how the. I know we're talking about sports and people who play sports. I think it's very beneficial to move into the comedy world because you have that drive. But then we were talking about school and the bike and then.
Oh, whenever people try to tell me cheerleading is not a sport, I really don't give a fuck.
Do people say that?
I've had it, like, it's very rare.
Okay.
But I'm always like, okay.
Then what is it?
Yeah, I just go, whatever. Yeah, if that's what you fucking feel. That's what I say to those people whenever because people have tried to argue that with me before. I go, okay. I was like, why the fuck would I argue this?
Have it.
Yeah. I was like, bro, I fucking jump in the air and do the splits. You think I give a fuck if you think it's a sport or not? You think I care? Bro, I can do all the splits, homie. You think I care?
Yeah, you should just
I got
split
glitter on my face, homie. You think I give a fuck if you think it's a sport or not?
And then you would do a backflip and sound go. And then what does he do? Flinch on him.
Yeah, flinch on him.
It's like that guy.
Like that guy.
Yeah. I don't remember what it started.
Okay,
but
I think it stemmed something with comedy, and I think it was just the way I operate. So when I was younger, so where I grew up in Mesa, which in where I cheered at was in this area called Gilbert, and that's like 20 minutes from Mesa. And so every day after school, because I just really wanted to be good at cheerleading, and so every day after school I had this bike, this beat up bike, and I would ride my bike from Mesa to Gilbert, which was like, damn, how long was that fucking bike ride? I can't even remember how long that bike ride was. It was a long bike
far.
ride.
But it was like over an hour, right?
Yeah, over an hour for sure. And then I would ride my bike from Westwood High School, shout out Warriors, to Gilbert to the cheer gym, and I'd be the first one in the gym. And so when I would get there, I'd watch like these cheer videos of these dope teams from like cheer competitions.
It came from watching stand-up clips.
Got it. I know where it came from.
Yep.
Okay. Damn.
Oh, we got there.
We'll
tell a story, then we'll go back.
So basically, I would sit there and I'd watch all these routines of like these really, really good cheer teams because I didn't really understand cheerleading when I first started. Mm-hmm. I was just like, and I don't like being clueless to something that I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what, and so I was like, let me fucking like actually learn about it because I kind of just got thrown in, especially when you're a guy, because they just, cheerleading, it was like, we need boys, to, with the girls and stuff like that. And so, so I kind of just got thrown into it, but I was like, man, well, I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. So I just watch these videos, right, for like 30 minutes. And then I go out to the cheer gym and I would just work on all the tumbling and flips and stuff like that. Like I would just, being there, like, and basically until I had practice. So I'd probably be in there like an hour, sometimes 2 hours before practice, basically practicing. And then I would do practice. And then after practice, I would work out a little bit more because then I would have a girl there to like throw up and like stunt.
Yeah.
Right.
Do it with the person.
Yeah. So then I would work on that. And if there was a girl that was willing to like stay like maybe like 30 minutes after, just to work out with me. And then I ride my bike all the way home back to Mesa that night. And practice like ended at like what fucking, I think like 9, and I'd ride my bike all the way back home, and I'd repeat the same thing every day. And then yes, I did get really fucking good at it because of that. But I didn't even realize that I was actually doing it. I was kind of like blacked out to, like I didn't have like that Kobe like Mamba mentality where it's like I got to be in the gym before everybody. I just was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I'm sure you also had that too.
So to bring it to where this is how the story came about was with stand-up. So I watch a lot of stand-up, you know what I mean? And I watch it like almost scientifically, you know what I mean?
It's
like
fun.
I love watching it. I love comedy.
Me too.
You know what I mean? So I like to watch it and I mean, there was something I heard like back in like 2010. It was Drake that said it. So don't quote me on this. Quote Drake. But he goes, Denzel still takes acting classes because because there's always something to learn. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And when I heard that, I was like, damn, that's fucking powerful. That Denzel, who we all think is like one of the greatest actors, of this generation, fucking almost of this lifetime, to where he just like, you see what he delivers and it's like, yeah, how does that happen? And a lot of times people think it is like people get good just basically. There is a little bit of luck. I think there is a little bit of luck to things, but also at the same time, when you look at some of your favorite people and why they're so successful, I think a lot of it is a specific discipline they have to certain things that most people don't think about to do. Like most of the people that I was cheering with, and I didn't even think of it as like in a arrogant way that why aren't they here in the gym? Like I wasn't thinking of it like that. I just did it because I was really trying to understand cheerleading. Because I did skateboarding and I played guitar. I went to fucking punk shows. You know what I mean? So like the world of cheerleading, but also at the same time, I did know how to do backflips already. Like I taught myself when I was like 5, when that bitch called me ugly. But
I can't believe that.
I know. But there was something to it to where I just honestly, I was just trying to understand. I think it was just the world of education. And that's really why, like, I think was the fact of always trying to learn. And then, I hear Denzel kind of speak of that in some of his interviews, like almost like the importance of like education, especially with something that you're wanting to be, that you do and you love the art of. And it's like, I love it so much that like, yeah, I love watching, you know, like if a special comes out, yeah, like, yeah, I'll sit down and watch the special. You know, why not? Like, fucking cool. You know what I mean? And you know, because I don't have a special or anything like that, you know, but
you will.
I will. But it's like cool to like see, you know, because I think there's a level to it when I guess when I think about it, it's like, okay, why was that special so good? Why was this one kind of okay? What's like I love that like science of it. I like comedy in a like I think of it like a science experiment.
I used to never watch them. I used to, the more like through my comedy years, the farther I go, the more I love watching them.
Yeah.
Because it's like the more you know, the more fun it is to watch. Like baseball.
Yeah.
I used to not like watching baseball. I didn't know all the rules that went on. I thought they just hit the ball and ran the bases. And you're like, boring sport. Then you realize there's so much going on.
So much going on, yeah.
Like, this is... So that's how it feels like watching stand-up now.
Yeah. And I love understanding, like, I'm like, damn, that joke hits so hard. Like, why is that a good joke? Why is that such a good joke? Like, you know, and you know, when you see the way people react to it, and then, you know, nowadays if they, you know, clip that joke up and they post it online and, you know, watching people like react to that joke, like, oh my God, this is so fucking funny. So, you know, like I love breaking down to the science of like what made that a good joke. And I'm not doing it to like fucking, you know, have a podcast of like breaking down fucking people's comedy or whatever. I just like it for, you know, my own specific, you know, education, you know.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I wasn't someone that got into comedy that because I wanted to do comedy. It was the same with cheerleading. Like, I didn't want to do cheerleading.
It's fate.
Yeah. It just fucking, you know, it didn't fall into my lap, you know, but, you know.
It came into your life.
Came into my life. And same with comedy. Comedy was just, you know, someone dared me to try it, and then fucking, and then I was just like, okay, I'll give that shit a shot, you know. And then, but when I did that, I would just fucking watch comedy, and that's all I've done like since. And I love watching it. Mm-hmm. Like even eventually, like getting into the world of acting. I've taken acting classes and stuff like that, but I love watching. You know, when you see someone like do a role and everyone talks about this role that this person did, it was like, oh my God, it was so fucking great. And I want to know why. I want to know why they're also feeling what I am feeling as well. Because like I feel it's great, and these people, you know, are all feeling that it's great. So I love looking at it, and I go like, listen, here. I've watched like the same movies so many fucking times.
Which in one's?
I've watched the same, like there's a collection of them that I've watched fucking so many times, and it's not even the like I already know what's going to happen, but I learn something new every time I watch it.
It's a good movie.
You know, I learned something new, and it's more for the, you know, eventually when I get to the point, yeah, because I would love to fucking act. I've always wanted to. I think that's what, you know, I remember being a kid and I wanted to do theater, but I don't know. I just never fucking, I just don't think, I blamed it on something else, but I just didn't fucking take action on it, you know. But I've always looked at it and gone like, that's so fucking cool that someone can take, you know, all and like, you know, okay, like when I watch Denzel do a role, like you know, play a character, it's like he's taken all these things he's learned about life, and he's been able to take these, you know, these certain things of life and just humans and whatever he's just learned across the board or whatever, and he's looked at it and he's collected it all, and he's able to create this character, and I think that's like really fucking dope.
That's art.
Yeah, that's a dope fucking art to me. So yeah, there's some movies that I've watched like so many fucking times.
Like, give us one.
Okay, Tombstone.
Oh, that's a great one.
Tombstone, because I love, I think everyone's acting in there is really fucking great. But the one that really stands out to me that I, you know, was Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer's role as Doc Holliday. That's like I watch that character so much, and I go, damn, what is it like? And I've even watched interviews of him talking about how he came up with that character, or not came up with the character, or what he did
his version
to deliver the performance that he was able to do. And like when I so like, yes, that's what I'm always curious about. Like, how'd they get there? How did they get there? And a lot of it is like this learning. They're learning. I was like, oh, okay, I love learning. You know what I mean? And that's all it is. And like the Nutty Professor. So Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy is a movie I've watched so many times.
I love that.
And I watch
the
it
two
like
opposite movies.
Here's another thing, Mandy. Here's another thing. So I've watched the movies, but sometimes, okay, but sometimes I'll go to YouTube and find one of my favorite scenes from the film, and I'll watch that son bitch over and over.
Just
because I'm like, man, like that's so creative. Like, how did they fucking get there? How did they get there? Like that's what I'm more intrigued about. You know, with the person, like how did they catch that? Okay, like I just watch all their movements and I go, oh my god, like, oh, what helped that line was when he made this face, and that helped deliver this line even bigger than what the words actually were. You know, I just love that stuff.
I think it's like what you said because of the learning. Because if you think about when you take a test in school, how it would feel when you didn't study and when you studied.
Yeah.
And then you really, really studied.
I say this. I go, I was a bad student, but I'm not a bad student. Does that make sense?
I was the bad student.
Yeah, but I'm not a bad student.
But I'm not a bad student.
Yeah.
Well, we love learning. I think we talked about this last time. We love learning about stand-up and learning all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just
because it's something I do, and I enjoy it so much. I enjoy it when I'm up there. And, you know, watching people, you know, come out with their specials and their specials do really well, I get excited. You know, like I'm like, damn, I love that feeling. Like I'm really like a little kid with this shit. Like that's how I think of stand up, you know, and so I guess the part for me, like, you know, when we talk about like posting the clips on like online, that's not the part that gets me excited. It is being on stage and you know, like I said, it's done a lot for people where people have been able to gain these followings really fast and stuff like that. But for me, I look at it and I go, I sit back, not looking at what I like to sit back, and then when the thing happens, boom, you know what I mean? It'll be there, like it'll like
force it.
The result will be there. It'll fucking happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I think that's, yeah. So yeah, I don't know where the fuck that comes from. I mean, it's probably just because I'm like, I don't want to look like a dumbass out there. But I would look like a dumbass in school any day.
Oh yeah, right.
Math class, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this. X solve X.
That's when passion comes in.
Calm down, Miss Samuels. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Miss Samuels.
Miss Samuels.
She was a real person.
My favorite teacher was Mrs. Sheehan.
Shout out to Miss Sheehan.
Mrs.
Sheehan.
That bitch was married.
Oh really?
I'm serious.
Shout out to Miss Nelson, my music teacher.
Shout out to Mr. Martindale, my music teacher.
Not music teacher. She was my choir teacher. And whenever I sit on like a chair,
a stool,
or like a stool or whatever, so she would never let us sit on like the
cushy.
We had to sit on the edge.
Oh.
Our butt had to be on this part.
So your posture was better?
Yeah. Oh my God. And what she mean about it? If she saw you sit like all the way back on that fucking chair, it was a wrap.
She would have hated this.
She would have hated it. But also like, it's and I don't know, it makes you pay attention.
Yeah.
You're like attentive to like what's going on.
Posture changes everything.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Great book.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember in elementary school, they were like, you can listen with your hands. I go, how? And they're like, just do this. Huh? I was like, damn, I heard everything you said.
Before your hands are like this.
Yeah. Before I'm like, la, 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 la.
I used to hide my head. I put on music headphones and my hair over. Yeah. Because I really wanted to learn in school.
Oh, wait. No. I was like, wait.
No,
you didn't?
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a class that I actually cared about in school. History.
There you go.
Yeah, history was something I always paid attention in, and always did really well in. That's about it.
Yeah, I liked science when you got to do fun things. Like
Yeah, I didn't care about
things.
that. I think there was just a curiosity. So I think that I know why I like history, because it's like what came before. You know what I mean? Like how did this get to this?
Learning.
What happened? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that's why I love history, is because of that. It's because just like I said, like I watch fucking old cheer videos of really good teams.
Watch some war docs
Yeah.
and see
Yeah.
what went wrong.
Mm-hmm. I know. Maybe I should get back on history books.
It's
It's been a minute.
weird. My brain doesn't retain history.
Oh, mine does.
You have a great memory.
Yeah, I know. Toby calls me Deep Dive Lacey because he's like, damn, how the fuck you know that? Reading.
I can't retain it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I don't care, I guess.
Yeah. There's certain things I just do not give a fuck about.
I mean, I want to care.
There's a lot of things I actually do not give a fuck about. To where I'm like, why would I talk about that?
No.
And I'm not even going to talk about them.
No.
I'm not even going to mention them on here.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Should we give some books?
We think we should give some books.
Okay. Well, I still haven't finished.
Oh, I'm way past that.
I know. He's way ahead of me, and I have Audible, which is
I know.
very sad. But, I've been with family the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
List all the excuses.
Yeah.
It's a great book, though. I'm almost done. So tell me Ryan Holiday
So
favorites.
Ryan Holiday, this is a more recent book that I really, really fucking love. It's called Discipline is Destiny. In that book, what's interesting, I find a lot of myself in these books as I'm reading through, and I think everybody can find that when it comes to like reading the books of this nature, is that you do find a lot of yourself, but it does like really help you understand things about you that I think you've never really tapped into or just knew existed, and you're like, oh wow, I actually do that, or I actually have tried that before. Maybe I need to try that again. Maybe I need to, look at it that way, start looking at it this way or whatever. But that book really, and some people are, honestly, I've heard a couple of my friends that are like, that I've recommended it to, that are like kind of scared to read it. And I go, don't, like, cause then they feel like they're getting called out.
Oh, you're so getting called out, but in a good way.
But in a good way. Yeah, you're getting called out. Yeah,
like a good friend that's like, don't wear that. You look like shit.
But the thing is about this Discipline is Destiny book, is that it clears out the distractions that you pay attention to on a regular, that you don't ever, that things that like you may not even necessarily think about that you're paying attention to, and then this book will just kind of help you understand that. At least that's what I took from it, where I was just like, not to say that like a lot of things don't necessarily distract me, but there are some things to where I do get distracted with. But it's helped me clear out these things where I'm like, oh, I never needed that. I never needed to pay attention to that or understand that, because that's how a lot of times that's how people do distract themselves. I think when people say they didn't make it, I think a lot of it is because of what that person was feeding into their brain. And I think in this book kind of expresses a lot of that, and has a lot of great examples of some people, long before us, that they really break down a lot about these people that we all know of, but just didn't know, like, oh wow, that's interesting. Never knew that about this person.
That's the best part about it, because it explains things through example.
Yeah.
Of people we know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. Another book that I really love by him is Ego is the Enemy.
I listened to that one too.
That's like that was the first book I read of Ryan Holiday's, was Ego is the Enemy. And that breaks down all the different, like, almost, I don't know if he really says this in the book, but like levels of ego, because we all have it, but like you may not have it in this area, but you have it in this area. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's what was, I love that. That's a good book. Another Ryan Holiday book. Don't worry, they're not all Ryan.
There's one more, Ryan.
Yeah,
I haven't read it yet. I downloaded it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Obstacles.
I was going to say Obstacles the Way. That's a really good one too. And that one's just really helped. What it helped for me was to understand that a lot of times that obstacle was something that I just needed to see and needed in my face so I can learn how to get to the next step of what I was trying to get to. And I think that's what so that's what I took from that book, Obstacle is the Way. And then this the new book I've been reading is called Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender.
It?
Yeah. I'm almost finished.
Oh, God, he reads so fast.
I read really, really fast.
It's a big book. You just got it.
It's a really big book.
I haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's a really big book. Yeah, I'm way past the halfway mark.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good so far?
Is it?
Oh.
Yeah. It breaks down things in a way to where, like, it breaks down the word guilt, right? And so guilt basically is a selfish thing. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times it's like, I feel guilty. But when you think of guilt, when you say you feel guilty, it doesn't necessarily help you learn and how to progress from the situation. Mm-hmm. You feel guilty, you just kind of sit with it. You know what I mean? And you think you feeling guilty is the answer to fixing the problem, but not necessarily.
Stagnant thing.
It's a stagnant thing. It's more selfish than it is selfless, is what that book is explained. And that book's by David R. Hawkins.
The title, they'll get the title. Letting Go. I think there's only one Letting Go.
I also want to get his name right.
I don't know the names of the books I was going to say. The authors.
I feel bad when I Letting Go, The Path.
I could look it up. I could pull up my Audible.
I got it.
No, for the ones I don't know, for mine.
I was right. David R. Hawkins. Yes.
He had it.
But yeah, and what's great about this book too is like, oh my God, it breaks down things, from like scientific way, and then also like, really, it's a really easy read. You didn't have to go to fucking science school is there science school? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You don't have to go to science school to understand it, but it's a great read. But that guilt part was an interesting one because I never really thought about that, and because I always think about when people say they feel guilty or like a sorry, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of times, like, I'm like, when I think about it, I go, I've never cared for an apology. And I don't know why. I never knew why. I never knew. I'm just kidding. And everything was falling through. I was like, why do I not care for an apology? I was like, and an apology to me, like, if I want you to say sorry for something, I almost feel like it's like an egotistical thing and almost like a bully thing to this person. You know what I mean? Like, say sorry to me. Mm-hmm. You owe me an apology.
Oh yeah, you owe me an apology.
Right? And I'm sitting here like, I go, why do I hate that? I used to get mad. and I remember one time, this is when I used to coach cheer, and I was a little bit ruthless. This girl had messed up. I remember she messed up on something. And I was explaining to her, I go, you've made the same mistake, blah, 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 blah. And she said, I'm sorry. And I go, I'm not looking for a sorry. I was like, I was never looking for a sorry. Mm-hmm. I didn't need that. And then I know it was aggressive. You
could have your own cheer show.
Yeah, it was aggressive.
Called No Sorries.
But honestly, I think that just even outside of cheerleading, I'm never looking for a sorry. That fucking, I would rather see the person, just be better. Sorry, my stomach's growling right now. But
we gotta go eat.
No, you're good. Because that sauna, when you do the sauna, it like literally, like makes my stomach feel so empty.
Really?
And it makes me really fucking hungry.
Oh man, where are we?
But I control myself when I eat though. But as I was saying, because I feel like sorry is another thing that's almost like selfish thing. It's like, oh, if I say these words, I'm sorry, then you're okay. Whereas like, I think it's more so the action, and I don't need you to be better for me, if you're just better for yourself, then I look at that and I'm like, that's an apology to me.
That's action.
Yeah, that's
Showing.
like that's how I, if anyone wants to say sorry, I just rather see the action.
You heard that? Whoever called him ugly, act on it.
Yeah. Man, I wish I knew who it was.
Me too.
I just remember her face. She was like, "You ugly."
This is why we listen to these books. But these books are so helpful with like stand up to me.
Another thing. So all these books that I read and stuff like, can I stop saying stuff like that and stop saying,
I didn't even notice that.
Thank you. All these books that I read, it's literally all funneled into my stand up. I feel like because of these books, I feel like I'm able to speak a lot more clear on stage, or when I'm doing a joke, I feel a lot more clarity and understanding. Whereas before reading these books, I listen back to some of my sets. I go, what the fuck was I saying right there? I wasn't saying anything. But ever since I've been drilling these books, I don't know. You just, I think when you just, that's the thing with stand up. When you just understand life and understand yourself and understand others and just people and just, but understand them in a way, understand people in society in a way to where it's not an egotistical thing that you know more. I think I think that's a true thing that really helps with stand up, and why a lot of people who, really successful comedians do so well, because I think there's just this understanding that they have of themselves, life, and, others, and just things. I think that's where that comes from. You could just see it,
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Big time.
I mean, I get the thought of like how I felt before I worked on myself on stage and how I feel after I've worked on myself. You're a whole other person. It's a whole other world.
Person.
What?
Whole different person. The way I would say things, like I used to say things as if I fucking knew the answer. And now I say it as like, I actually didn't know the answer. I'll be quite honest with you. And that's, but that's the funny part, because like, I think a lot of times when you hear somebody on stage and they're just talking as if they know the fucking answer, it's like, bitch, who are you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you
don't like that.
Some fucking.
We don't want this.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, those books I recommend, and I just recommended them to somebody. I actually threw those books at somebody recently. It was Cole from Don't Tell.
Oh.
Yeah. Shout out to Cole.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're gonna like him, Cole.
Yeah, because he's like, I think he was just, I don't know if he asked my daily routine, but I don't know. So we were having some conversation where he's like, we were talking about like what time we wake up, and I said, I'm usually like a 6:30, 6:30, 7 at the latest, and he was like, what? You're just up? What do you do? And I go, well, I make my bed, and then once I make my bed, I make sure everything else in the room is clean. Like I just make sure things are kind of tidied up, and then I grab my books and journal, and I go to Starbucks, sit there for like an hour and a half or so, and then after that, then which now I started adding my workouts. I've been really consistent with that, and I'm really happy about myself with that, with the working out. And I don't want to get too hype on it, because when I get too hype on it, I feel like I speak too soon and then I just stop. So I'm like, yes, I work out.
Yeah.
Just going to say that in a humble way. But I was just explaining like how my day is. And, I told him like, I don't hang out after shows. I usually just go home and reflect. And then, then I wake up and do the same thing the next day. He goes, what the fuck? You're like a robot.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I love having structure and a routine.
Yeah.
Oh, if I don't have it, I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't feel good.
No.
It throws me off.
I don't want to wake up and just like figure out, okay, what am I going to do today?
No. Give me a routine.
Yeah.
Or else I feel so overwhelmed and unprepared for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the books I'm going to say are all of my, because I've always been obsessed with the schedule. I remember when summer came, I hated going back to school, but I was excited for the structure.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that feeling.
Yep.
So I'm constantly reading habit books.
Is that what you're on right now?
No, I'm reading yours still since I'm behind.
Oh yeah, you're behind.
Still reading that. But I've listened to.
Are you at least at the halfway mark?
I'm past the halfway mark.
Okay. We're golden.
Yeah, we're fine. We're totally cool. Ryan, I'm reading them.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the best habit books. Atomic Habits is really good.
Okay.
And that's the one. His name's James Clear. And every Thursday, he started doing a newsletter. His story is super motivating because he started small and he started consistent. Mm-hmm. In the newsletter, he still does it.
That's so crazy he says that.
Right?
You start small and then you
consistent.
That's how. Nah, I'm not gonna put myself into James Clear's shit.
I mean,
that's how I started with journaling.
Oh.
When I started journaling, I was like, "Don't write fucking a lot of pages."
That's what he says to do.
Yeah,
he said,
like, you fucking just write what you feel.
Yeah,
and that's how I go off of. I go off like, as long as I feel, I go, because if I try to force something out, I'm just gonna repeat myself.
Mm-hmm. Don't force it.
Yeah.
He even says, like, if you want to work out, feel free to just drive to the gym and drive home. Just move, get slower and closer and closer and closer, and then it'll just go.
Yep. Wow. I like that.
It's very simple. So that was the one. And the other thing from that book that he said that I really liked was habit stacking. So it's say you don't wash your face, you want to wash your face. Stack it in front of brushing your teeth. Something you already do every day. So then you put it there. You habit stack.
Yo.
Isn't that fun?
Well, so
oh, James, he's coming for you.
No, I'm not coming for him. No, but it's I'm actually, I'll definitely read that book because I just do a lot of this shit. Even though like some of these books, like I do a lot of the things already, but I still love to know that someone else is like out there doing it as well. Mm-hmm. I love that.
So that's the one I really like. Oh, so his newsletter every Thursday is when I send you the screenshots of the white and not the colorful ones, the texted ones. Mm-hmm. He does, I think it's 3 ideas from me, 3 ideas from others, and then like 3 quotes from others and 3 from me, something like that. I should know by now. I look forward to those every Thursday. And they're so...
And what are they on?
He does a newsletter in your email. So you just get it in your email every Thursday.
Yeah, because you forwarded me some. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I just did forward you last Thursday.
Yes.
I don't even tell you. It's a fun surprise. I love sending them. So James Clear is cool. And then old one, War of Art. That's a classic
War of
good
Art,
one.
Stephen Pressfield.
Easy, quick read. And then the other one that I really liked, even though it didn't click until the end, but when it hit, was The Big Leap.
I don't think I read that one.
Another good habit one. Mm-hmm. But and then the other one I got into last year, the end of last year, was the 12-week year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's very simple. It's just you think of 3 year goals and you do them in 12 weeks instead of a year. And then you reassess at the end and then you redo it. Because they say that most people don't hit their year goals until they're like, oh shit, we're in November. Mm-hmm. I got to do it. So if you do it every 12 weeks, you'll do that. Oh shit, I didn't do it a lot more often throughout the year.
Wow.
Which is fun.
I love it.
I think I have Atomic Habits. I got the Audible. I think I saw it at Goodwill and snagged it.
Shout out to Goodwill.
I have to check. I'm trying to see if I can see it. I don't know.
What are you looking for?
I don't know if I have Atomic Habits for you to read. My books.
Where are you looking for it at?
My books. You can't see them from your angle.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you looking at? I was like, is it in the Zoom thing right now? That's what it looked like you were looking at.
No. Well, I think there's some good books for you freaking folks to listen to start your year up on track. Enough books to probably last you the year as long as you don't read as fast as Shapel.
I read too damn fast. I read so damn fast. But I had to train myself to read. Because
small and consistent.
No, well, when I first like really started getting the reading, because a lot of times I'm like, what the fuck did I just read? And so I would have the struggle of that. So I would force myself to go back and read that until I fucking, knew what the fuck I just read. And so I kept doing that. And so honestly, it's made me like really fast with reading.
It's great.
Because I was like, I'm not gonna fucking. I was like, I'm liking this book, and there's a lot of parts of this book that I'm really liking, and I'm like, I can't miss out, on something. So and sometimes it'll still happen today, like, but it's not as often as like when I first started like really, really reading.
Yeah.
Was when that like I like go back.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. I did that in school all the time. I'm like, I'm reading, but I hear nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just you're zoned out while reading.
Yeah.
Or at least that was mine.
Yeah. So if you struggle with reading, just try that.
Just keep reading.
You gotta have patience with yourself. Because I almost didn't. I was like, you dumb fuck. Did you not get?
How many times?
I know.
Well, should we eat?
Yes. I feel it.
Well, we gotta eat. Thanks, Shapel.
Thank you, Mandy. What? Is that weird?
No, it just sounded like we're on Anchorman.
Oh. It really did.